Julie. Okay, good morning, everyone. Today is July 11th, 2025, and we are here this Friday for our Legislative Committee for the Colorado Forest Health Council. My name is Jody Shad McNally. I'm Larimer County Commissioner, and I chair our Legislative Council, and I call this meeting to order. And now we'll go ahead and do roll call. Thank you, Courtney.
Samantha Albert.
Present.
Morning, Samantha. Katie McGrath Novak. I see you, Katie.
Here.
Okay, great. On the phone. Pat Dorsey. Looks like Pat's not with us right now. Christina Bury.
Morning.
Good morning, Christina. Commissioner Jody Shaddock McNally.
Present.
Good morning, Commissioner. Mark Morgan.
Here.
Good morning, Mark. Julie Stencil.
Good morning.
Good morning. Commissioner Veronica Medina. And Allison Lurch. So we do have quorum
Yay.
today. Yes.
Okay. So let's move on with our agenda. We do, I believe, have approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Well, first, let me just say thank you, everyone, for all us taking a break, and it's just so wonderful to see you all again. I kind of missed our Fridays. You get kind of used to that and used to the agenda, but I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July and some time off. I spent a lot of time talking about wildfire mitigation and looking at some projects and looking at some biomass solutions, and it's been really informative. We had we had one small wildfire last night close to my house that was contained, and then we had another one just on the other side of Boulder County's line, and that one also was contained. So it was interesting to have that all kind of, the lightning strikes kind of getting some things rolling. And just I'm sure we're heading towards a lively season, unfortunately. So we have minutes from May 23rd that we need to approve. Did anyone have any additions, changes, or concerns about some of the minutes? I'll welcome a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Great. Want to just make note that Pat Dorsey has joined us, so add her for our attendance. Thank you, Pat. Great to see you. And now we'll move on to the next item, which is the Wildfire Matters Review Committee presentation. We thought that we would be presenting in August, but they moved us up to next week on Tuesday. So I'm going to skip one of my meetings and go present down in Denver to our recommendations. And Courtney's done a lovely job of already getting a nice presentation, great pictures, and really tells our story. And we're going to share about the 30-year vision plan, and then also the resource guide, and talk about recommendations. We don't think it'll be longer than probably 20 to 30 minutes. And so we just wanted to share that with you. And I think we need to take action to kind of vote on for me to present. Is that right, Courtney? And the recommendations.
I'm not sure if there needs to be an action to vote on you to present, but we might as well. I'm not exactly sure what all calls for that.
Well, how about are you interested in joining in person to be in the audience? James, is what you're saying? Okay.
Just sending info for the team.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put it this way. Does anyone have any concerns or questions or comments about me presenting, and everyone okay with that? Is there anyone opposed to that, or anybody have some things they want to discuss? Okay. Our recommendations were pretty straightforward. The only thing I think we're going to add to the talking points is that Colorado state statute to increase the GNA and some of those things we saw in statute. Those are I think some of the details. But one thing we did want to talk about is the biomass option, and we haven't really had any firm details on that yet. And so we probably would just present to them, because we'd have to get anything we do present detail wise in front of the full Forest Health Council for them to approve. And so I think we'll be working on that as a legislative committee. So so we'll just probably present it that way. So that's something we'd like to discuss today is, you know, as I said, I've been running around looking at some options, even had a big meeting yesterday at some emerging technologies that are starting to really crank up for some of the mitigation work up here in Larimer County, and looking at some of the money that came in to expand biochar in certain parts. And then also I met with the U.S. Forest Supervisor in person a couple days ago, and it was a great conversation about what he's looking at. So so I think that's something we could discuss today, or maybe you all want to go back, especially you, Mr. Morgan, some ideas about that biomass portion or the biomass network. Anybody have any comments about that?
I'm very much interested in that. And I think it's an important discussion to have. Biomass and how we're treating it is driving your management costs on all your properties, and it's really spiraling out of control for your costs right now. And I think we have to take a real hard look at. I brought this up several times, but we have to look at how much biomass we have to remove and how much we don't have. We're going to have to look at biomass manipulation. And it's, as the bids keep coming in on this work, it's making a great many of your projects financially undoable. And it's really limiting the amount of acres that you can get managed. And I suspected that this was going to happen. And lately it's very much come true. And I would be interested in any presentations, or you just mentioned a couple meetings, Commissioner, that I would like be interested in any information about that, because if we're going to do management work on a scale, I think we're going to have to come to the realization that there's a whole lot of biomass that is going to be manipulated and not removed, because it's taken timber sales and turning them into stewardship contracts. It's taken stewardship contracts and getting them astronomically expensive. And I just don't think the will or the money is there to continue to do that. So I think we're going to come up against some decisions there. And in my mind, that's the linchpin of what we're trying to do here right now. That is the most critical item. And then I come back to my same drum that I keep beating about workforce development, because everybody I know is really suffering. And I know a couple more businesses that have been in Colorado here for years and years and years. And it looks like they're going to go out, and it's a matter of workforce development. And I think early on in this meeting to get going that hard, but I just feel like it's critical, and we gotta deal with it.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. I'm going to, well said. I'm going to, Courtney has her hand raised.
Thanks, Commissioner. Thank you, Mark. I just dropped in the chat the legislative recommendations that were approved at the February meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You should all have access to view that document. So this is what the council fully approved. And so we can bring copies of this to the committee next week. Yeah, like Commissioner said, recommendation 1, 2, recommendation 1 and 2 are set. Recommendation 3, biomass, we were going to add detail to it. And I do wonder if, I do believe that we need the full council's approval to turn that into a more detailed recommendation, but Daphne was noting that we could always share it with the committee as is, and when we get more details, we can update them with a more detailed version, similar to the forestry workforce bill from last year. We presented it without all the details, and then we updated it with incredible amounts of detail, and they picked it up with all the detail, which was great. So I think we have that room to develop the biomass recommendation. And then the fourth recommendation, the workforce bill, with that included partnering with the extension office. We just referenced it, but I think I could go ahead and pull in more details into the document before sharing it. So those were some thoughts about, and I would remove capital days from this document too.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Courtney, spot on. Thank you for that, and thank you for the work on that and getting us ready. Pat Dorsey.
Yeah, I was just going to say a few of us were at a meeting the other day where we talked about a forest restoration economy, which includes biomass, but it also includes workforce, and it includes getting businesses to think about what actually makes good operational sense. And it's not anything that's going to help us for this year, but I do think having a broader discussion about it's not just biomass, it's that whole forest restoration economy might help put through some meaningful legislation in the future.
Thank you. And that's some of the conversations I had last week, is the circular economy for woody biomass. And there's some industry folks looking to see who's kind of developing that and some interest in that. So I think we're all having similar conversations. Mr. Morgan.
Yes, Courtney, I spent quite a bit of time rereading what you had presented here, and I don't want to construe what I'm saying as having a problem with it. And I had underlined in there biomass removal and supply chain infrastructure again. And I think what we're trying to do is going forward, but I'm just trying to bring up the fact that we're really, in plain sense, from the industry side of things, some of these biomass where we're removing a whole bunch of biomass, it's marginal whether we really need to be doing it or not. We're making $2,000 an acre projects into $4,000 or $5,000 an acre projects, and we will run out of treasure and will publicly to get the acres done that we need to do, and I think we have to limit that. And I think what you've got in here, I'm fine with and okay with. I'm just saying we've got to expand on it. And when we were talking about future people to bring in, it's very difficult for me. I know a lot of the numbers and I know a lot of the costs, but people you deal with need to hear it from somebody else. They need to hear it from other places. And, you know, I can provide this, I live with it every day, but they need to hear it from other sources. And so when we look at our calendar review, I was looking for people that I would like to hear from other people with other perspectives about that subject, because I think we have to, at some point, we got to get up in the morning and say, how much of this has to actually move and how much doesn't, and how do we want to manipulate it if we're going to leave it on site, and I guess that's what I keep coming back to. But what you have on here and what you're saying is you put a placeholder in here and we can work on this and go forward with it. I'm fine with that. And I didn't want you to think that I wasn't.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. I appreciate, and that's what the council's approved. But like Courtney said, we can expand on it like we did the workforce. Also, I think Samantha had said that Julie Shapiro had said she and Allie had talked about presenting on some of this to the committee soon, so we can expedite that and make that up. Maybe we can see if we have that sooner than later for one of our presentations. And you're right, and Pat too. I remember we had that, and that was something we had already flagged to have as one of the first presentations. So, with that being said, it sounds like everyone's okay with me presenting, and we'll have staff there for questions. It's a very straightforward presentation, and I appreciate your support. Was hoping it was going to be later, but I'm going to be able to call into another meeting so I can go down and do this. So I'm excited. So anyway, so let's move on unless anyone wants to just further add some good input on this. Otherwise, we're going to go into the next item, which is the 2026 legislative calendar review and select speakers for upcoming presentations, which is kind of what we were just talking about. So is everyone thumbs up? Everyone good for moving on so we can kind of, great. And I will give, I will ask, we'll give a quick email update after presenting next week that we can have Courtney send out to the legislative committee. So you guys maybe have right off the bat, kind of an update of how it went, if that works out for you. Okay, awesome. So Courtney's also put down in the chat a Google spreadsheet. So if you can click on that, or Courtney, do you want to share a screen and we can go through this and look at this calendar? And we are in July. I have no idea where May and June went. And I'll just share one of the big things for me at the end of June, which I appreciate you guys all giving us some time off, because I had to help my son throw a surprise engagement party, my oldest. So I drove up to Montana for a few days, and yeah, I was scrambling, but it was great. And she said yes. So that's the important thing. Let's look at the calendar. So now we're in July. We don't meet again to the 25th. And I believe we have ones in August and the 22nd. So do we want to, here's my suggestion, and let's discuss it, but you guys, I think we all have great ideas. How about that next one if it's possible, the 22nd and the 8th, we could focus on biomass and then kind of looking at this workforce piece of maybe refining that a little bit, because we know the other past bill had a price tag, but I do think the infrastructure and the idea is still valid. So thoughts on this, as I'm going to pull you back up. Christina. Yeah. Oh, and Christina and I have scheduled a meeting here soon, just so you know. We're very close to actually meeting in person. So I thought we would announce that now so that we can kind of publicly state we're going to get those. I think Christina's like very, very soon, right? We have.
Yeah, I sent you dates next Thursday and Friday.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So Courtney, I don't know how you want to notice that, but we're going to meet next, probably next Friday, and go from there. So hope that works.
Okay, I'll have some more questions for you later about what I need to post, but we can touch in after the meeting.
Okay, thanks. All right. So I'm sorry, who had their hand? Christina, you had your hand up. I apologize for interrupting. Thank you.
So I totally agree that we should absolutely have presentation like we're talking about biomass workforce. I do want to clarify a little bit. The presentation that Julie Shapiro and Allie that was mentioned is a little bit more broad than just biomass and workforce. That's a component of it. But my understanding, please correct me for the folks who are there if I'm wrong, is that it's more focused on this new work group. I can't even remember what the acronym stands for at this point, but the acronym is WORK. It's like Wildfire Watershed Resilience something. And they are focused on, yes, I think some of the workforce capacity and the forest restoration economy, which does include biomass, but they're also looking at policy and other options. And so I do just want to clarify that if we're thinking about that presentation for those days, it may be more broad and more focused on the initiatives and focus areas of this new group, rather than just tackling biomass and workforce.
I think that's great. I think tackling it from a broad perspective is great because there might be some other connections that help leverage that. Who's all in that group? Do you know, Christina?
Oh my goodness. I would say, yeah, Samantha, Pat, myself, James, so DNR, State Forest Service. It initially, I think it's being funded right now. So Keystone is the facilitator being funded through Northern Water and Denver Water. But a lot of the state agencies are at the table. A lot of nonprofits are at the table, like Wild Turkey, TNC, Trust for Public Land, Colorado Timber Industry Association, Colorado Mass Timber Association or Coalition is a part of it. So it is a very broad group of folks. Colorado Counties, CCI was at the meeting. So it is very broad. It's not limited in terms of participants. I think they're looking to further expand. Walton and Gates are also a part of it as well. And Colorado Forum. It was hosted at Colorado Forum to try to represent business interest. Oh, you're on mute, Commissioner.
Thank you. So I'm very interested in that. Are they allowing any electeds? Because I know CCI is there and that represents us, but is it Katie First is in there, or do you know who was from CCI?
I don't remember. I don't remember her name. So if someone does remember, but okay, good. James probably does. But yes, I think if you're interested in participating, Julie Shapiro, if with Keystone, is the facilitator. So that's who I would recommend reaching out to.
Okay, great. James.
It's Kelly Flanagan. So it's actually the executive director of CCI who's been in those meetings.
Great. I'll see her today and tomorrow, so I'll talk to her. So, okay, great. I will reach out to Kelly Shapiro. I think she also worked with NoCo Places with us. I'm on those meetings I've been having. So, and Allison's here. Hello, Allison. Thanks for coming. So,
Good morning, everyone.
So, do we think Julie and them are able to present on the 25th? Samantha.
Yeah, well, Allie, not to just put you on the spot right as you join, but we're talking about work in the conversation we had on Wednesday and trying to see if there was a date that maybe Julie was available. I know the two of you had been chatting.
Yeah, we didn't come up with a specific date yet, but they're pretty much ready to go. We do think, I would think that the 22nd might be the best date. However, the work group is reconvening, at least the planning team, on the 25th. So it might also be that September, like possibly a September date would work. If you want, though, I can reach out to Julie and the team today to see if we feel we have enough information to do a presentation before we reconvene as a planning team.
Yeah, even high level, just kind of the goals and what even topics or things like that. I would be very interested. So,
Well, if we want to stay high level like that, then I think we can take one of those August dates.
okay. So you want to try to put that? Is that Courtney?
I'm curious if we wanted to leave, we had talked about doing a DNR, CSFS sort of table setting intro. I'm curious if we still want to do that on August 8th, if we want to see, if you all think that's still important. So this was something that was sort of a placeholder, and then also thinking through what we're doing in 2 weeks. So I was just laying out, these 3 meetings.
That's what I was thinking. We get the next 3 kind of set for sure. Allie and Samantha, any feedback on what you think about the best timing for having what sounds like I'm assuming this is new. Sounds like an amazing opportunity to have that kind of group working together on some initiatives. So.
Yeah, I can reach out So why don't I ask, I think we'd probably want more than just Julie to present, possibly Ben Guion as well with Conservation Investment Management. They've been sort of co-leading this effort. So why don't I reach out to the both of them to see when they're available, and we should know within a day or so.
That sounds great. So, should we leave the DNR one on the 8th and, the CSFS, I'm trying to read, leave that there just for a placeholder, and maybe we need, I don't know what is, what kind of timeline or timing does those folks need, or I'm assuming it's some of all of you, what kind of timeline do you need?
I mean,
I
if
think-
that's Courtney, go ahead, Courtney.
I was going to say, I think if the committee can refine what they would like to hear from DNR and the State Forest Service, is it about budgets? Is it about the programs that the departments are having, the departments are running? I think if we could get clarity on what the presentation is, it might impact how long it will take, whether it's just the people who are in this meeting creating information, or if we have to go to partners and colleagues or find other people to participate.
So I would be interested with DNR or Colorado State Forest Service. There is that new money to give out money to collaboratives for projects. And I'm not sure what that looks like through DNR, if that's related or not, but I do think any kind of forest management kind of things come out. I think they're giving out $2.5 million buckets. I'd be interested to see what kind of if that's through CPW, or what kind of new things are happening that we know kind of the what's the word I'm looking for, kind of the co-swap and all those things. Maybe we need to look at other things that you're all doing. So, and maybe some budget things as well, and how that impacts what we're looking at. Maybe an update on the Colorado State Forest Service on how the nursery's coming along and that progress. Christina.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Yes, happy to do nursery update. One other thought I had was the forest action plan, but I also think too, we could take a look at our just overall programs, and I think give an overview of those. But yeah, certainly happy to do a nursery update if that's of interest to the group. And like you said, Commissioner, budgets, happy to provide whatever information the group is interested in.
I am looking for my little yellow hand, but I can't find it on
Oh,
my phone, so I apologize.
well, I'm going to have I'll have Mr. Morgan go first, Pat, and then I'll have you go next.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I would be interested in looking for any kind of a compilation or source from any of the agencies as to an overview of the projects that they've done in the last couple, 3 years, and the cost of those projects, exactly what format they were in, whether they were timber harvest or GNA, or whether they were an IRSC contract or a stewardship contract, and what was required. Just a quick overview of how the material was treated and what it cost to do the project, the total cost. And I think that comparison would be very informative to a whole bunch of groups to know where this is headed. And I'm trying to think of who I would even suggest to provide that information, but I think it would be really valuable for people to see that and see a direct comparison. And I don't know whether you want to drop that on the desk of the State Forest Service and Matt McCombs is going to come kick my shins, or what the deal is, or the Forest Service. But I think a compilation across these different conservation districts and projects, I think it would be really valuable. I know it would be for me.
And that might take a little time, so then maybe that's something, if you're interested in that, Christina could maybe take back and or James or Courtney and see what kind of timeline or what kind of refine what's possible or, so that's interesting and interesting thoughts to kind of compare. Pat.
Yeah, I think I was thinking along the same lines as Mr. Morgan. I was wondering about, an update on the Colorado Forest Tracker, which I think tracks all of those projects, and it would just show where we made progress and maybe where we still need to emphasize some work getting done.
Great point. And Katie had kind of submitted the same thing, and I had been thinking the same thing. And so maybe that is something we can look at. Julie.
Yeah, I think it sounds like for the earlier meeting, the higher level overview of some of the things we've just talked about here probably makes some sense, and that likely is going to give us an opportunity to identify and ask for a deeper dive on some of these issues Mr. Morgan's talking about, because I agree, understanding what projects have happened, where the dollars are changing because of, and why, what are the outside influences that are causing those dollars to change to make some of these projects financially unviable, I think will help shine a light on identifying where are there some potential solutions, right? We've identified that solutions for the challenge are something that is needed. So really getting an understanding of what Mr. Morgan was talking about at the start of the meeting, I think would be really helpful.
Great. So how about this? How about on our next meeting, someone who can come kind of walk us through the Forest Health Tracker? I know we've all seen it before and we've all been sent it, and I've been trying to dive into it. Maybe someone who's a little more skilled than I am at navigating it, and then maybe being able to share some of that. And then maybe we can dive into some of the deeper questions Mr. Morgan and Pat had felt. Yes, that's why I was thinking, Katie, because Brett's on our Forest Health Council. So maybe we can start with there, kind of looking at a landscape of what's been done and where we're at and looking at a visual. So maybe we can try to do that for the 25th, unless I think we could probably get someone there. And then maybe Mr. Morgan, Pat, and all of us could submit some questions, write that down, Mr. Morgan and everyone, about questions that you're thinking that you'd like to dive in about that. And let's send those to Courtney and Allison, so that maybe they can they have it on paper, kind of the things that you're thinking. And then we can leave those other meetings on the 8th and the 22nd kind of ready. And I think we have to make sure that's going to take some timing to get everyone ready for the other two meetings. So I don't want to add too much more onto that. But I think if you can send some of those questions you just mentioned earlier, then type out exactly what you're looking for, then maybe we can help tailor that or prepare for the 25th, and then also might inform some of our conversations for the 8th and the 22nd. And then I think as we are having those three meetings, we're going to understand maybe what we're looking at for September. What does everyone think about that, Jen? Mr. Morgan?
Who would you want those questions to go to? Exactly.
Courtney, that's how we avoid.
That's right. Thank
Yeah,
you very much for the offer. I would very much like that opportunity, and I would be happy to do that.
Great. Well, then we avoid open meeting stuff because we send them to Courtney instead of talking to each other, and then we don't have the open meetings
I
thing.
just
So
want
that's,
to make sure I got it to the right place.
yep. What do you think, Courtney, Allison? Does this sound something okay for capacity wise and staffing wise? Does that sound like a plan? Doable? I can't see your faces, so Courtney.
Yes, thank you. I think giving DNR, let's see, 4 weeks to pull together information about programs, especially outside of CoSwap. I think we know a lot about CoSwap, but in order to extend into other things that DNR is doing, 4 weeks sounds reasonable. So I like the idea. And if people can get us questions ASAP, that way we can create a presentation answering as many of the questions that you have. Some of them, Mark, like maybe getting costs and biomass management included in a table might take a little longer, but if you give us that information sooner rather than later, we can start working on answering those questions.
I find I just think it's very helpful that you're even taking it up, and I'm willing to work through the process, whatever works for you, to get a real good comparison, however long it takes. But I think it's a corner that we have to turn and look at.
Allison.
I'm wondering if, and maybe this has already been said, but a joint, I believe Colorado State Forest Service could fill a whole meeting presentation, and maybe DNR could fill another one too. I'm not saying we split them, but I want to make sure that we have enough time to be able to dive into the specific programs while we're in those meetings. So Christina, I also can't see your face, right, or at least your bubble right now because of the screen share, but what do you think about making sure that we have enough time for the State Forest Service to be able to present and field questions and all of that?
Yeah, we're flexible. I think either way, if we run out of time, we'll follow up. And if we need to do a separate meeting, then I'm sure there's going to be unanswered questions either way. So we're flexible and happy to do our own meeting or joint, whatever is best for the group.
Okay.
Appreciate you being thoughtful about that. Thanks, Allie.
Yeah, it's really thoughtful. And I think that's a good point. Because I hate for folks to show up and be prepared for answering things and then we don't get through everything. So maybe we should be proactive and maybe divide you up and put either DNR or Colorado State Forest Service on the day after the work group. What do you think, Allison? I see your hands raised.
Yeah, I was just reflecting on something. Christina and I were able to sit next to each other during the meeting earlier this week. And I think there's just some unique programs within Colorado State Forest Service that were one time that are in process right now, like the incentives for local government and some of the other ways that you all have been investing money that I think it would be great to hear more about. Because we of course are laser focused on the acres that we're treating and the where and the how, but you all are also doing some amazing investments in communities and matching. So yeah, I do like that idea of making sure there's enough time to be able to give that big picture of what the Colorado State Forest Service is doing.
So Christina, I think she just basically put you up front. So do you guys think that's an okay thing to ask?
Yeah, we'll try. I think if we don't have all the information completed at that time, I mean, certainly I appreciate Mark's comments that this will be helpful and iterative. Hopefully we'll continue to answer questions throughout. Yeah, as much as needed. So I think we'll do the best we can with the time that we have, and knowing that if there are more questions, we're happy to answer them. And we have the experts in house and happy to put people in touch with those folks.
I think that's wonderful. So I guess you're going on the 8th, and we'll look at the forest health tractor and maybe refine we'll get some questions to Courtney, and maybe we can refine that list of questions, and that will also help. Maybe that's how we plan the rest of our presentations based on questions and what we're looking to find some answers for. So I'm thinking this is great. I think there's a lot of work here already to get kind of focused. I hate to add more onto there. Does anyone have any feelings different for that? Because I'm thinking it might be a good place to start before we start really adding a lot to the list. Any thoughts on that? Okay. Allison, Christina, James, Courtney, any questions about kind of where we're at with where we're at? I think the September 5th, we can just leave open for whoever is needed extra from the other 3 presentations, maybe, in case we need follow-up. Courtney.
Yes, I think that makes sense. Do you want to have DNR on on one of these days? Oh, you're muted, Jody.
Let's put DNR on the 5th and then the follow-up the next one. Okay, so thumbs up, everyone good where we're at? There's a lot of work and data and information coming with that. Okay, so last item, and then if you don't mind, I'm going to end us a few minutes early so I can go help cut a ribbon with Congressman Neguse at this. Already this wellness center has saved the lives of 2 firefighters who got cancer detected early, so I'm pretty excited about that. I mentioned that Christina and I are going to try to meet next week, and I know when one or more of us talk and plan and discuss council items, we're going to be doing that hopefully next Friday. We'll fine tune, but probably middle of the day, Christina, if that works. And then next steps for the Forest Health Council. I just wanted to kind of discuss that. We've got the plan out. Courtney, Allison, we have our virtual meeting come up. Anything else happening that we should be thinking about?
I don't think there's anything else for this group. We will be later this summer working on pulling together the annual report. I mean, that's a 2025 annual report, so not quite yet, but that'll come together later in the summer, early fall. And just an update on the breakfast. We did speak to our budget folks, and they confirmed that the best way to do sponsorships for the breakfast would be that DNR or the state pay for the printing of materials, since those items in some way might belong to the council. And then items like coffee and breakfast burritos and cookies and harmonicas or whatever it is that the group wants to give out, those items could be purchased by the sponsors. So we can keep sharing more information about that, but I know that was something that this group was trying to keep an eye on as well.
Excellent. That's a great update, and that's helpful because I know some of us said we knew some potential sponsors. So I will ask everyone all those questions since they're all top of mind. Pat and Mr. Morgan, myself, Julie, Samantha, send those questions. All of us send those questions to Courtney. I'm sorry, Courtney, to fill up your email box, but can you send those to Courtney before next Friday?
Absolutely.
I hate to put such a tight timeline, but if we don't, it'll be a month. You're like, oh, I didn't do that yet. I know that's for me. I really try to do things like right away lately, and I'm cooking through my list, which is great. So let's do that. I'm going to put that on that by next Friday. Get your questions to Courtney, and we'll have those ready for the next meeting too. And then we'll give a report out from how it goes on Tuesday with the the Wildfire Matters Interim Committee. Is there any other information? We don't have it on the agenda, but any other burning information items people want to share? Okay, I'll look for a motion to adjourn then.
I'd so move.
I'll
Is there a
second.
second? Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey, great grounding meeting and getting us back on our 2-week thing. I'm really excited. There's some really good information we're going to go through the next 2 months. Courtney and Allison and everyone, Christina, everyone, appreciate your time. It's really good to see you all. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thanks
you.
all.